and distributed the same according to the best wisdom. And Brahma's people, by commandment of Brahma, call themselves not Brahmins, but Vedans, that is, truth followers. Verse 23. In those days, the language of the kings of India and of men of learning was all Ao, signifying out of all that is good. But the Vedans were the unlearned, and their language was imperfect, and of many meanings for every spoken and written words. Verse 24. God foresaw the liability to corruption of the Brahmin religion, and he spoke to Brahma, saying, Behold, I have given thee 7 sons, 6 of light and 1 of darkness. Thy 6 sons of light shall establish each one a school amongst my chosen, and teach my scriptures by words of mouth. And all that henceforth become rabbis shall be capable of repeating every word of the Veda by heart. And in after ages, if thy plates and thy books of my holy religion are destroyed by war, it matters not, the substance of thy labor shall live. Verse 25. Then did Brahma's son as commanded, each and every one becoming a teacher. And again God spoke to Brahma, saying, Arise and go where my angels will lead thee, taking thy wife and thy son Har with thee. And thou shalt travel yet 2 years from place to place, and then return hither, for thy labor will be complete. God's first book, chapter 21, verse 1 through 20, states, verse 1, the place thus founded by Brahma was called Harayo, and his people at this time extended in 7 cities and 30 villages, and possessed all the country of Roam, which had been uninhabited hundreds of years. And the Vedans cultivated the lands, living on fruits, roots, and on bread made of wheat grown in the fields. But they ate neither fish nor flesh, nor anything that had breathed the breath of life. Verse 2. Brahma and his wife Yutiv and his youngest son Hag departed from Harayo, accompanied by 7 disciples, and went forth under the direction of the angels of Ramaz to preach and explain the Veda, carrying 1 book with them. And they went first to the northeast through the kingdoms of Hyamsat and Aliaud and Zeth and Watashar, then westernly to Hatakatra, where the tyrant Azza Avin had built a temple of skulls after the manner of the ancients. Azza kept 6 dens of lions for devouring his condemned slaves. So because of oppression of the kingdom of Azza, from Hatakatra, Brahma obtained 3,000 followers. Verse 3. And when Brahma had 7,000 followers, the angel of God directed him to the plains of Sipin Amata. And here he established his people, dividing them into families and villages, and appointing priests unto them. And Sipin Amata became known over all the world from that time after. Verse 4. After this, the angel directed Brahma to go to the southwest through the kingdom of Haspor, and Vatayo, and Aramya, and thence to Desiyama, to the city of Hatrista, where Omaz had a host of 1,000 already inspired to join Brahma. Verse 5. And now the angel directed Brahma to take his host to the mountains of Takaraktaval, and establish them, the which he did. And behold, the time of Yutiv and Brahma was near an end, for they were grown quite old. Verse 6. The angel said to Brahma, Great hath been thy labor, very great Yutivs, wherein all the world is such a woman, from the day thou first beheld her, for the glory of thy sons, and in her age to follow thee, walking so far. Verse 7. Behold, O Brahma, Yutiv is weakening fast. Rise up and take her back to Harayo. The mountains of Roam are calling her. And thy faithful son Hog, strong and tall, take him back with his mother. Harayo is calling. Verse 8. Brahma went and looked at Yutiv, and his soul spoke within him, saying, O Ormaz, have I forgotten her in thee, the mother of my gods? O her proud young soul, when first I saw her, Alice, I see she is tottering and feeble. Verse 9. Brahma went nearer to Yutiv, and she spoke to him, saying, O Brahma, thou God of men, I know not if my eyes are turning dim, But oh, I have had so strange a sight, even toward the high sun. It was myself I saw rising, going upward, the earth going downward. Then I called, O Ormazd, not alone. Behold, my God is yonder. Let me back to Brahma. Then I thought the Creator brought me back and said, Go thou quickly and see thy godly sons in Harayo, for thy time hath come. Verse 10, Brahma said, My angel saith, Go thou back to Harayo, thy labor is near finished. For this reason I came to thee. It is well, therefore, for us that we return, taking Hog with us. Verse 11, So Brahma and Yutiv and Hog, with 5 remaining disciples, departed for Harayo, which lay 3 days' journey for a man to walk. And they knew not how Yutiv would go, for she was worn to the last step, and above all her shoes were worn out, and she had only pieces of cloth to her feet. Verse 12, And while they were deliberating, having only gone a short distance, Hog perceived going in another direction a score of soldiers mounted on horses, and they were leading a number of spare horses with them. Then the soul of Hog spoke within him, speaking to himself, saying, verse 13, Behold, my father hath made many converts in this day, made good men out of bad men, bad ones, and he hath ever refused money and gifts and presents. Now wherever justice live, I know not, but many of the rascals who begot followers of my father were conscience-stricken with ill-gotten gain, and finding that my father would not receive their stuff, they tried me, and behold, my pockets are full of gold and diamonds. In truth, it may have been a very devil prompt me, but I am supposed not to know the higher light, but to know the lower. Of myself and for myself I want not these things. If they belong to Ormazd, it follows I should not keep them. Therefore, if I give of gold or diamond to these soldiers, they will give me a horse for my angel mother to ride on. Who knoweth but by the way of those soldiers is the nearest road for this gold to find its way to Ormazd. Verse 14, So Hog went away and purchased a horse, and brought it to his mother, saying, Behold, a man hath given thee a present in the name of Ormazd, but forbiddeth thee to retain it, except to ride to Harayo, whether thou shalt sell it and give the money to the poor. Yutif said, A good man he saw, and wise, for only on his own condition could I have accepted the horse. Accordingly, Yutif mounted on the horse, and they proceeded on their way, going slowly, for Brahma was also near the end. And after 7 days they arrived at Harayo, where they were perceived by Brahma's son, by all the multitude of disciples. Verse 16, But owing to Yutiv's deep love for her sons, and bending worn out withal, and having witnessed the glory of righteous works fulfilled through her husband and her sons, the strain was too much for her corporeal parts, and they brought straws and stretched her along, and a bundle of straws under her head. Then she spoke, saying, verse 17, First to thee, O Ormazd, my blessings, because thou created me alive to enjoy thy glories. Next, O Brahma, my husband, my blessing on thee, God of men. Thou hast taught me the fullness of the earth and heaven. O the glory of having been thy wife. Verse 18, Then she called Wi'ish, and said, O my son, my firstborn, my blessings on thee, because I have watched thee from the hour of conception. I have had the wisdom of creation demonstrated before me. O the joy when first my eyes beheld thee. I am going now to prepare a place in heaven for thee. Verse 19, And after that Yutiv blessed all her sons. Coming to Hog, she said, My blessings on thee, O my latest born, God of men. To all my other sons I have told my love, but to thee my soul so overfloweth. I am as a dumb woman. Thou hast been a very God in all thy ways, and believest not in Ormazd, nor in heaven nor angels, for which reason I looked upon thee as the highest of all creations. Thou art good for goodness' sake, wise for wisdom's sake, happy in finding a way to master all in happiness. Verse 20, And these were Yutiv's last words. She shut her eyes, she was dead. So they took her body and robed it in white and buried her in the forest of Roam. God's first book, chapter 22, 1-13 states, On the day of Yutiv's death, Brahma said, Sing not, Sing no songs, pray in silence only. Let her soul be in quiet with Ormazd. On the second day, Brahma said, pray in whisper, praise in whisper, the best good deeds of the dead. Verse 3. On the third day, Brahma said, burst forth a song of praise to Ormazd, extol the